It always comes to this. More nice shit. Guys, back again to do another tattoo progress update today. Where I last left off, I had showed off my back piece. What would be its mostly final session, at least final for now. And I know a lot of people will always push back on that because obviously I just keep working on things. But the back piece is more or less going to be a finished piece, and it's not going to change much like my prior back piece. It only really got changed once or twice. It got updated to be part of my blackout suit, and during my first suit it was reworked a couple times as well, but it's mostly where I want it to be now. It's just gotta, I think in a few months after it's settled in, probably say October, November area, we'll come back and we'll hit all the color again, and maybe highlight some more white, but that'll be probably 3 or 4 hour session, and then that's that. I don't think it'll need more than that. I'll show it off. So hopefully that did the trick. It is fully peeled now. It's maybe a little dry in places, but it's been 6 days, and so it was peeling after 3, and then mostly finished by yesterday. So yeah, pretty happy with it overall. I mean, I think that blue worked way better, just like I expected it to. Again, we used sky blue or blue sky fusion and mixed it with white in the lighter points, whereas the first time we used some ice blue or whatever the fuck it was, ice blue, light blue, and it didn't work very well. So that one is officially retired as far as I'm concerned. I won't be experimenting more with it. As much as I like that color, it doesn't really do much of anything. So yeah, overall the back piece is finished overall, and I couldn't have been happier with how quick it went. And you know, the back, it's a weird one. I felt almost vulnerable for it, more than I did in prior years working on my back. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. It didn't feel more painful. I just felt constantly like I had a predator on my back or something. And that's a feeling that can't really be put on a pain scale. People are always asking me, you know, the most painful places to get tattooed. Some of the back sucks. The lower back is terrible, but overall it's pretty easy. But there's always weird feelings. Like, for example, when you're having your crotch tattooed, it just doesn't feel right. You know, you're used to people, if they're touching it at all, they're touching it gently, lovingly in that area. And to have someone aggressively, you know, more or less attacking those sensitive areas, it doesn't feel quite right. Same thing when you're in your belly button, or I found the same in the knee ditch as well. Anytime I've been in those areas, it feels very invasive. It feels like it goes deeper, like it's tattooing inside of you, not outside of you. And I'm sure that's not actually what it feels like to have your insides tattooed. But, and same, inner butt cheek, that's another one. Again, not the most painful thing ever, but very, very aggressive feeling and invasive. So there are some strange feelings you can have with this. And sometimes it's not just about pain, it's about the overall awkwardness or tenderness of an area, you know, that just doesn't feel quite the same. So yeah, I had another session with Rick. I'll go over that here quick. We did this whole backside here, this tentacle, and it's pretty close to peeling already. I should say it's been 2 days, and he did want to get into this one, but he figured that we could do that next week or the week after. There's enough there to do for a session. We got all this stuff in back that's only been done once. So you can see my elbow is finally fully healed. It's still a little dry. well, I should say peeled. My elbows take forever to peel, similarly to my fingers, because again, it is a dry skin there. But we do have, for now anyway, we have a complete coverage there, and you can see that yellow shine is already coming back. Again, I have it on this arm too, so it's not unique to one elbow or the other. But where Rick was trying to do very little detailed stuff, Terry going over with bolder colors is always going to be, and shapes always going to be easier to pull off on an elbow than trying to do anything detailed on an elbow, even in the best case scenario. So if I could restructure this sleeve today, probably would just keep that fucking suction cup off the ball of the elbow, but it is what it is. We'll do as much as we need to get it to work. I think probably one more pass through and it's going to be more or less solid enough to take a walk on for a good while. There's some more stuff that needs to be retextured back here and stuff like that. Some of these places, believe it or not, have only been done once. Other places have been done upwards of 5 times. It's kind of all over the place. But this tentacle here was done, I think, for the 2nd or 3rd time this time. So, yeah. And again, we are on session 59 here. So some places are into the absurdities. We also colored in the talons here with this kind of orange. And there's some white tones. There's even some blue tones in there just in spots to give it a little bit of a shine. And yeah, I think those are going to heal really, really well. That's been done a few times now as well. So takes different in different spots on me. And Rick is always mixing so many goddamn colors over there that it's really hard to even keep track of how many different ones we've used. But there's all sorts of different oranges and browns and opaques and stuff that he's mixed together for that. And it does give a nice highlight to the sleeve to have the yellow kind of continuously all throughout. These little things just bring focus to everything else. Again, I can't get over how well this tentacle healed this time. If we could get them all up to this and this level, that's kind of my goal. Whenever I see these moments of brilliance come out and these things that go extremely well, I should say this did pretty good too from last time. That's my inspo to continue this sleeve. So where some people might be daunted with the fact that this is session 59, I did say from the beginning that I expected between 60 to 80. But truth be told, this is just a rough estimate. And I do think that we'll be coming in closer to the 80 sessions. I do think that it's doable in that time, but we have quite a bit more to do still in here. Like we got to get back up here, and these things back here could use another hit. And some of this stuff is right where we want it to be. If we do any more at the top, it will be simply highlighting, because that's already pretty fucking good. This whole stretch up here has been good for a long time. For whatever reason, Rick has had an easier time saturating that area than anywhere else. But down here is starting to get really good too. There's just a few spots left down there that need like a complete redo in some areas, and some areas need just touch-ups. And then obviously my hand needs to be worked on some more. The red needs to be done again. Tentacles need to be done again. So it's kind of like, in some ways, the sleeve has been complete for a long time. And for someone it might be. But like, there's just too much variation of kind of the level of where things are at saturation-wise and for an overall cohesiveness, to where I'm not happy to walk away until we have it all up to the same level. So, and we set a really ambitious goal with that, in how overall detailed and complicated the subject matter is. So, yeah, swinging for it. Whereas with my back piece, I think my back piece is a more striking image. Don't get me wrong. It's just the way that it's approached is less detailed. And so it's going to be achievable quicker. Even for Rick, he probably could have put it together in 20 to 30 sessions. Not the 8 that Terry did, because Terry is just outright more efficient than Rick. Rick has Terry on creativity, and then I think that Terry is overall more efficient. It's just the way it is. It's not; these aren't knocks against either guy, really. I just know the tool that I'm using, the guy I'm working with, whatever you want to say. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses in this. And there's some things that I prefer to go with Terry just because I don't want to be there for fucking 9 years. I didn't want to work on my back for the same amount of time I worked on all the tentacles on my torso, you know? I didn't want to be working on that for fucking 2 years because that's how long we were working on all these tentacles on my torso. Like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And by the way, all that white was only done once. And it's still good. Like, those tentacles haven't gotten worse. They've stayed exactly where Rick and I left them, and they will be that way until Terry and I change them, because that's my next huge project that I'm undertaking, is coloring on all those tentacles. And that's been something I've been looking forward to for a long time, but I wanted to get my back piece done, and now I've got a little bit of tidying up to do before I move on to the next big project. So before I get into any of that, I'm just going to show off. My fingers are nearly healed. They're still peeling in places, but mostly peeled. And obviously the knuckles are going to do the worst. But it seems to me the last finger he did the worst. The first finger he did the best. This time he started on the pinky. And again, both fingers are better than they were, but I'll probably do them both another time here later in the year. I'll give them a few months to heal. I don't need to do them. I didn't need to do them at all, so I don't need to do them again right away. But where I made quite a bit of progress with them, I think it bears doing again. And it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be for healing. So if the healing had been terrible and I had to take all this time off working out and all this shit, then maybe I would have just done it the once and been done with it. But where it was fairly manageable, I think it's worth doing it again. So, yeah, that'll probably be closer to the end of the year after I get the tentacles done and all that. So, I've got several sessions lined up for this sleeve again. And again, this sleeve has been finished multiple different times. So, we're going to refinish it again. I think it's probably going to take us maybe close to a month in total. I don't think it should take more than that. I want to hit the blue highlights again. I've been talking about that for a long time. I want to probably redo... I might hit the purple again. I don't think we'll hit the red again. I think it's good in the actual roses. Purple's a hard color to saturate to begin with. I definitely want to do a second pass on the thorns. I don't want them super bright. I just want them a little more solid. There's just still a little bit gray for my taste because there's still some of that white mixing through. Truth be told, the thing that's made those thorns cloudy is not the black that we covered, it's the white that we covered. There's people who think that going over white with color is better, but what actually happens is when you put color into previously settled white ink, it almost goes through like a filtering process of where it comes through creamier and duller looking. Whereas with the black, it is dark, but it's just dark. It's not glossy looking. And I found that anytime we put color over white, it's been the color is more fucked with than when it is put in over black. So there are people who have asserted, why don't you do a white layer first? Because it's actually just an inefficient, bad idea to do that. You would think that, oh, you brighten the canvas and then you put color over it. It's like, no, because we don't put the white on the surface, we put it in the surface, and then anything else we put in into that white goes through this sort of dulling process when it mixes with the white. So there are some old school people who probably think that's a good idea, but I found better results to just put the fucking thing straight over the black and kill the middleman. Do a second or third layer, and you're farther along than you would have been messing with the white. So, and again, this is more chemistry than it is art when you get into these kinds of extremities. It really is. It's more of a science than it is an art. And especially when you're doing what we're doing. So, yeah, I plan on doing the blue highlights. I want to do the gold and the thorns again. And then we're going to redo all this red. And that will mean, of course, doing... what we do on the arm will have to be brought over to the shoulder and the neck as well. So I'll be in for some more neck torment. get that overall neck sessions closer to 40 instead of 30. And these are legit numbers, as crazy as that sounds. So I probably will do another 2 rounds on my neck. Again, the sleeve will probably have another 3 or 4 sessions. So when you have something that's connected all the way through, when you change one part of it, you really should change all of it, which will mean the hand as well. But I've been planning on doing the red on the hand anyway, so it is what it is. I actually will probably bring more spider webs onto the hand. And I think that whereas last time when I recolored the roses from black and white, and it was fairly contentious or polarizing for some people to see the black and gray roses become purple, blue, and green, or purple, blue, red, and green, I think this will be just more of a direct upgrade. Everything is just going to be brought up a level. It's going to be more clear, more focused, and just a better version of what we have already. And it's nothing against the red velvet. It's just that after what Rick and I have achieved with the color over here, I think that that's a better color. I like it more. It still is red velvet. It's just kind of a brighter red velvet, a more solid red velvet, and I want to bring more of that into the suit. I think it'll help differentiate things more, and a little more light source is never a bad thing. So I'm always thinking about how I can get more contrast and clarity and things like this. Anyway, I will be talking to you guys here again tomorrow because I'm getting tattooed today as well. And I'm actually pretty excited for this one. So I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.